Hello, this is Craig Wescoe recording for TCGplayer.com, and today we're going to be playing some Modern with this sweet deck that Toshikazu Matsumura made top 8 of the Japanese WMCQ with. Adam Yurchik mentioned it in his article last week, and whenever I saw it, I was like, I have to try this and play this. And this is basically similar to a strategy that I was trying to do with a Bant Humans deck a couple months ago, and I mentioned it in my article. But this one looks like it's has a little bit more going for it. It incorporates this new card, which wasn't out when I tried my version, but Thalia's Lieutenant. So Thalia's Lieutenant and Champion of the Parish work together to create these huge, sort of fast creatures when everything else is a human. Mayor of Avabrook is almost like another Thalia's Lieutenant, pumping all your other guys. Every creature in the deck is a human. Now, the deck can accelerate out with Noble Hierarch or Avacyn's Pilgrim, both also obviously humans. And then it also has Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, as a way to kind of disrupt the opponent. So some strategies require casting a bunch of spells, like a Delver deck or a Storm deck or something like that. And Thalia just keeps that from happening. And also problematic cards like Supreme Verdict and Anger of the Gods. If you have a Thalia, then you're going to get an extra attack in before they can cast it. And then when they do cast it, hopefully we have mana up and we can cast this most important card in the deck, Collected Company, on their end step. Our other spell in the deck, the non-Collected Company hit, is Path to Exile, just because it's the most versatile removal spell in the format, and we can afford to play it, so that's our non-Collected Company hit that we're choosing to play in this deck. We want to play all four because our deck doesn't have a lot of disruption. The other sort of disruptive card is Reflector Mage. So it's a human, gains all the bonuses from Lieutenant, pumps Champion of the Parish. It costs 3 mana, so we can hit it off Collected Company. So it fits right into the deck, and it's between Reflector Mage and Path to Exile. That's kind of our way of clearing the way to dealing with opposing creatures. We also have Jace Vryn's Prodigy as a way to flash back the Path to Exile or the Collected Company. So that's kind of a sweet little 2 of. We don't want too many of them, but 2 is a good number. And now, this other really cool card is Mantis Rider, which is a human monk, because it's the rider of the mantis that's the human, that's the creature. So we want to be Collected Companying a lot during our pre-combat main phase so that we could try to hit Mantis Rider and swing haste. The last card is Meddling Mage, where sometimes you just have to name a card. So Ad Nauseam, you name Ad Nauseam and they can't win. Name Living End, and a Living End deck can't win. Name Supreme Verdict against a deck that has to cast Supreme Verdict against us to win. And so we have 2 more on the sideboard. Basically, against just having a 1 of, it's kind of a bullet. I mean, maybe you could play a 3rd Thalia instead, but Toshikazu played the 1 Meddling Mage, and we're going to stick with it. We also have 4 Cavern of Souls, which help us to cast all of our humans, including Mantis Rider, which is probably the most difficult one. And we also have a Gavany Township to pump everybody. We have no way to find it, but that's okay. It's just a 1 of. If we draw it, great. If not, you know, whatever. It's not essential to the deck. And then everything else is fetch lands and shock lands and a couple of basics. Just to round out the mana, make sure we can get all our colors, cast all our spells. And then in the sideboard, like I said, we have the Meddling Mages against decks like Ad Nauseam or Living End, decks that are really reliant on one particular card. We have Stubborn Denial, which is probably going to be the most common card we board in, just as a sort of counterspell that catches all. We're going to have some big creatures, so any of our Lieutenant or Mayor of Avabrook makes Mantis Rider big enough. Champion's going to grow to size pretty quickly. Lieutenant's going to grow to that size pretty quickly. So it's going to be pretty close to a hard counter, or at least a negate, in a lot of matchups. And even just as a 4 spike, it's going to be good enough in the matchups that we're bringing it in for. Then we have Spellskite for combo decks that target things. And then we have Stony Silence against Affinity. Can also come in against Tron, very disruptive against them. Any sort of Crack Clan Ironworks strategy, things like that. Rest in Peace, Graveyard Strategies. I'm unsure whether to bring it in against Tarmogoyf type decks. Maybe one of them, but definitely both against any sort of graveyard combo deck like Living End, Eggs, stuff like that. Mark of Asylum is against Anger the Gods or any type of strategy that relies on a bunch of burn spells to deal with our creatures, even if it's just a bunch of lightning bolts. We want that. Lantern Scout, sometimes you just got to gain some life. And then Gideon, this is for a lot of the mid-range type strategies where their plan against us is to just 1-for-1 use Terminates and Abrupt Decays and stuff to kill all our guys. And so then Gideon is a way to, it dodges Abrupt Decay and can also just start churning out a token every turn or attacking as a 5/5. And that kind of combats a lot of these mid-range strategies. And also it's very useful against Knight of Souls Betrayal. So you can emblem the Gideon, and then suddenly the Knight of Souls Betrayal doesn't kill half our creatures anymore. So this is the deck. It looks super fun. I can't wait to play it and share it with everyone watching.